I love all. I spread my love to everything.
I don't
Uh,
want to know. I
and
don't
you
want to
should
know anything about.
absolutely love the greatest team in sports right now, and that is my beloved New York
Shut up.
Yankees.
We
Shut
haven't
up. All right,
started yet.
don't we? All right, here we go. Let's just
Oh,
let's
we've
just start. Let's
recording's
just
already
start.
happened.
On this episode of Three Tool Players, we do our first weekend series recap for the opening series of the season. Brian is loving the new torpedo bats for the Yankees, and Spears lamenting the fact that the Mets bats do not exist. All of this and more on this episode of Three Tool Players. Welcome to Three Tool Players. I'm Chris Spear, and alongside me are my co-hosts Brian and Dan Hammer. Say hello to the internets, fellas.
Hello to the internet, fellas.
Ahoy,
We
ahoy.
have had a fun-filled weekend of baseball as we are now through the opening weekend, and we already have some stories that we're following. The Mets bats are ice cold. The Phils had some late game heroics to win their first game, and then Aaron Nola imploded in their third. But the big story of the weekend is hashtag Yankees bats.
I haven't been looking forward to this segment. Just hearing my jackass brother, spew like this idiotic, I don't know how to put it. I'm fuming right now on the inside, and I'm trying to hold back, but I don't know how
Well,
to.
let me give you a little bit of a respite, and I will at least explain hashtag Yankees bats. The Yankees went on an absolute torrid run of home runs over the weekend, absolutely blasting the Milwaukee Brewers. In one game, it was a 20-9 score with 9 home runs hit by the Yankees, 3 of which on the first 3 pitches of the game.
That
And
is a Major League Baseball record, mind you. Keep going. I'm loving every bit of this. Keep going. I like this.
My God.
a lot of this is being attributed to the new torpedo bats that some of the Yankees debuted over the weekend.
Those things look like fungo bats. I'm just telling you that straight up. Look like 50-year-olds that use them to hit fly balls to their little leaguers out in the field because they can't get it out there. These are freaking fungo bats.
Perfectly legal baseball bats, gentlemen. Perfectly legal. Nothing wrong with it. And listen, we'll hire people from MIT. Yeah, I said it, Boston. Look at you guys. We're the ones taking advantage of your folks. And look how amazing we are. 15 home runs in one weekend. And you might want to go check the audio tapes from earlier, gentlemen. What did I say we were going to do to these upstart Brewers? What were we going to do with them out of town? Remind me. Rhymes with peep. Big sweep. Big sweep. Get out the rooms.
We
Get
both
up
knew
on out of here.
we both knew that the Brewers weren't going to be all that good. I mean, like we all knew that. So it's they're irrelevant in the NL Central. We also said that the Cubs were going to win. Brewers weren't going to be good this year. So yeah, so you did, Billy Madison. You beat up on some kindergartners.
Let me tell
Are
you
you
something
happy
right now.
now?
It wasn't just kindergartens. This has just been a bludgeoning. Daniel, we are on track to win 162 games this season. That's statistics. I don't know what else to tell you. Three out of
Settle
three out of,
down.
I can't help myself. You're right.
Settle down.
You're right. You're right. Listen, in all seriousness, did anybody in the wildest dreams think that there would be such an explosion of offense during opening weekend? Sure as anything, I was not. All right, I was saying, I'm feeling good about this team. Yes, there's a lot of injuries. Make no mistakes, we're still not perfect as a team. We made 5 errors, in fact, I think today. I feel bad on one hand for the absolute depantsing we did on one of our former Nestor. I'm so sorry to say this, buddy, but you came to the Bronx on the wrong side, and we spanked you for it.
He had no business being in the Bronx. His first 3 pitches were all home runs.
All of them.
He probably has no business being in the major leagues now at this point. He needs to
My,
run. Like he needs to go into Whip Pro or something. That was a brutal opening for Nestor Cortez.
Well, I think the Yankees has a good scouting report on Nestor since he's thrown for the Yankees. So I bet you they just went out there and like, all right, he's going to throw strikes, so let's just jump on him early.
With the torpedo bats. The
Yeah.
torpedo bats. The interesting thing about the torpedo bats is that there's nothing illegal about them. Is it cheating? I think there's a lot of people that are going, oh, the Yankees are cheating because they're using these new bats.
It's not cheating
It's not
because
cheating.
the MLB rule 3.02, the bat shall be a smooth, that's hot, round stick, not more than 2.61 inches in diameter at the thickest part and not more than 42 inches in length. The bat shall be one piece of solid wood. That said, it notes that experimental bats cannot be used until the manufacturer has secured approval from Major League Baseball of its design and methods of manufacture. Bottom line is, it's been given the thumbs up. And that's not to say that every Yankee player is using them. I
No,
mean, yeah,
in fact, Aaron Judge is not using this bat.
he is not.
He's good at
So
baseball, so it doesn't matter.
Aaron Judge is very good at baseball. Aaron Judge is not using this bat, and Aaron Judge had 3 of those 9 home runs in that 20-9 barrage.
Mhm.
But Aaron Judge isn't using it. Volpe's using it.
Jazz is
Austin,
using it.
yeah, well, Jazz went off too. So
Mhm.
there's something to be said for the bats. The bats are engineered. The idea is that you bringing more wood to the part of the bat that you're hitting the ball with. And what you're trying to do there is you're trying to make it harder for the batter to miss, right? Because if there's more bat there, there's more chance you're going to make contact with the ball. That's the idea. Whether or not you're hitting home runs with these things is a different story. Jazz Chisholm went crazy over the weekend, but
Mhm.
that doesn't mean automatically you're going to hit home runs. The idea behind these bats is that you make more contact with the ball.
And that's an important statement. When somebody is swinging a bat and there's obviously a mark rubbing off of the baseball, off of the piece of wood, I'm sure there's tons and tons of study going into this. How cannot there be? Again, we just started talking about this in the last 48 hours, so I can't wait to dive into some of the science of this. But if I'm a betting person, which I am at times, I would say that looking at where our hitters are most likely going to make contact with the balls, such as what your comment made, Spear, is the applied logic here. And the Yankees just went off on that. Now, I wonder if the rest of Major League Baseball is going to have time to catch up with the learning curve that the Yankees have kind of thrown out there.
Oh,
Um,
all right, settle down. Okay, first
all
of
right,
all,
I'll
all
pause
right,
for. I'll
settle
pause.
down because you
There.
need it. You really do need to be adjusted here. I'm going to knock you off your pedestal a little bit. Okay,
Please do one
first
and two.
first of all, the Brewers pitching was brutal. So it wasn't that the Yankees found some sort of fountain of power in these new torpedo bats. Let's just all take a very deep breath. Please and thank you. Settle down, evil empire nut job. Second of all, this is just the next bit of evolution in bats. This happens every once in a while. If you remember, about 25 years ago, there was a shift from ash wood to maple. And it all started with Barry Bonds,
Mhm.
of all people, who switched to a maple bat and started mashing. It came out a little bit later that the reason he was mashing was because he was hopped up on all kinds of steroids, so it wasn't
Allegedly.
necessarily no, what not allegedly, for sure.
Keep going.
You didn't know
There's
what
nothing
kind of cream
alleged
he was.
about it.
You didn't know what kind
I
of cream he was putting on himself.
Get out
Eh?
of here.
just because you
So
take steroids doesn't mean you're good. And that was another comment that was made back in the day.
yeah, well,
Just
just
because
because you're using these torpedo bats doesn't mean you're going to hit 3 home runs in a game.
exactly. Exactly right. So that's just how great the New York Yankees
Settle
are.
down.
And Billy Madison most certainly showed up with his red dodgeball the entire weekend and pummeled every little kid on the Milwaukee Brewers.
With the Yankees. What I'm excited to see is you'll probably see by tomorrow that there's going to be job postings in the major market teams looking for batting analyst, a swing analysis
Must
for
be trained at MIT.
yeah, must be trained at MIT, must be trained at Harvard or Yale or whatnot. And we're going to see it. We're gonna have to take a look on the job postings for all the major league clubs to see if they're going to fall for this and try to pay for a person to do the same thing that the Yankees did.
You know that somebody will,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
You know that they will. Everyone's going to take a much closer look at this thing now and be like, all right, can this be used to our advantage? Certainly the Yankees gave themselves a bit of advantage. There's no denying this.
I'll just simply say that I relish the idea that we continue to be trendsetters. We appreciate being the pioneers and the Lewis and Clarks of them all to explore greatness within the great sport of baseball.
Oh
So
my.
you're welcome, Mets. You're welcome, Phillies. You're welcome for the great work that we do.
Well, it's just baseball. It's always changing. I mean, you see Moneyball, for instance, trying to get on base. Getting people on base produces runs. Then you see the shift happen. Baseball had to go away from the shift because it was taking fans out of the seats because who wants to see like, a 2-1 game?
You're
Yeah,
absolutely
it
right.
is.
Because when you get to a point in the sport, that's why the clear example is when they had to lower the mount after I think it was the 68 season because batting averages were way down, pitching was completely dominant, and they had to figure out a way to make it a little bit more of a balance between offense and defense and pitching. So same rule applies for employing the shift. Or now we have this pitch clock and to move the game along faster, and you can only throw the ball over so many times over to first base. So yeah, it's in the same kind of realm. And to Spears' credit, yeah, agreed. There's going to be a hard look at the outcome of these new shape of baseball bats, even though they're still within guidelines. The rules may come back and say, all right, well, now you can only have a certain ratio of sweet spots. This is something that will definitely be studied in the future.
There's going to have to be some really good proof that these bats are bad for baseball for them to be able to add a rule or change a rule because these bats are that much of an advantage. Because there's nothing to stop anybody else from using these bats. It's not the Yankees that have an exclusive right to use these kinds of bats. If that were the case, then I would say fine, make a rule. But everyone can use these bats. So the idea of putting a rule around it and legislating it out of Major League Baseball seems batty to me. I just really
I
made a bad
see
pun
what
there.
you did
That was
there.
terrible,
That joke,
terrible.
McGillicuddy.
Oh
Oh, I'm proud of
man.
you. Oh,
Oh,
good for
oh, I
you.
gotta take a
And
lap.
listen,
That was
it was
bad.
even listen, here's the reality of your statement, and it's this. A rule change is not going to be made until somebody takes a line drive off the face because the exit velocity off of a bat like this. I'm not saying it's happened yet, and I'm not, the studies haven't been, shown, but if they're being able to prove that these new bat designs have a much faster on average exit velocity and somebody gets tattooed right between the eyes with one of these bats, it's the same as reason why we don't have metal bats in Major League Baseball, right? Because it's dangerous.
Well, that would have to be a huge jump in exit velo, right? I mean,
Huge jump.
huge jump. I mean, what's a really good exit velo? 114, 115 miles per hour coming off the bat.
Just
Hmm.
110 is phenomenal.
All right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you get to like 117, 120, does it start to get that much more dangerous? I don't know. And that's what analytics give you, right? Analytics give you the opportunity to look at those things and then make adjustments to baseball. And that's the one thing that baseball has actually been really good at over the course of the last 20 years is using analytics as a bellwether and try to understand how the game can get better or worse. So, give it time. I think it's an interesting story. I think it was made that much more visible by how many home runs the Yankees hit over the weekend. If the Yankees didn't have that kind of a barrage, we wouldn't really be having this conversation. It would be more of a curiosity than a conversation. Give it time. I think it'll have a longer runway before we can start to make any kind of decisions on this thing. Dan, how did you feel about your Phils this weekend?
What can I say about them? I mean, we at least won the series. Yeah, it was against Nationals, so I'm happy that we've won the series. Not happy that, Trey Turner is down with back spasms. I feel optimistic about Schwarber, the way he is hitting, putting a bat on the ball. They
Crushed the
switched
ball
him.
the other day. Crushed it.
Oh my God, he's an animal.
That was
And
a
if
Schwar bomb.
I'm going to tell you this. I mean, if the Phillies do not re-sign Schwarber, I feel like it's going to be a big mistake. You could see when he initially started with the Phillies, 200 batting average. He was having some down years, but last year he really brought the bat with what was it about a 250 batting average and still hitting about 40 home runs. I feel that he has turned it around. He's a lot more comfortable in his at bats. Is his strikeout rate high? Yeah. But you know what? It's just it comes with the territory because he's a masher. It's either going to hit ball far or strike out.
And if you recall, the Cubs sent him down at one point during the
Hmm.
season after a nice breakout season the year before and known as a masher, but you're absolutely right. K rate was way high. So I think he's found a nice home for himself in Philadelphia. So I always love watching Schwarber.
How do you feel about Aaron Nola today? Aaron Nola goes 5 1/3, gives up 5 earned runs, 2 home runs for an 8.44 ERA in his first outing. Not good right out the gate.
Well, let's go back to one of our earlier episodes where I said that it's what Nola comes to the stadium. It's either Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde. And unfortunately, Mr. Hyde came to the stadium this morning.
A little bit
So
of Dr. Jekyll, though. He had 8 Ks to
he
go
had
with.
8 Ks, but the thing is, once you get past the fourth inning, it's kind of like it's a toss up with him. You get through the lineup at least once, and then the second time, the team starts figuring him out.
Third time around. Third time around. That's where they got him. And you're right. I mean, that's the pattern with Aaron Nola. Third time around, and he got tattooed.
As bad as Nola was showing up here, he still shows really great signs of, who he is. So I wouldn't really worry so much after just one start in the beginning of the season. But something that I'm super surprised about is the Braves being 0-3 coming out of the gates. I know during our previous conversations that we were saying that this was the division for them to lose. And I'm really just taken aback by that. Just shows exactly just how strong the Padres are as a team.
Oh, we
Well,
said
as
that
we're
the
sitting here right now,
Padres, yeah, we said that the Padres were going to be a dominant team. They have the pitching, they do have the hitting, and it's just, they're going up against the Padres right now. What can you do?
yeah, and as we're sitting here right now, they're down 2-zip in the seventh. So they still have a little bit of time, but you're right. The Braves going 0-4 to start the season, that's unusual.
Very.
Unusual. I'll tell you what's equally as unusual is the Mets bats are just ice cold, except for Juan Soto. Juan Soto's doing his thing. Juan Soto's like, all right, doesn't matter what jersey I'm wearing, doesn't matter where I'm playing, doesn't matter at all. I'm just gonna hit home runs, I'm gonna hit doubles, I'm gonna get on base. He's doing Juan Soto things, and the Mets bats are ice cold. Francisco Lindor has started the season 0 for 11. This is just a repeat of last season where he started 1 for 31. What is going on? If the Mets bats don't wake up soon, we're going to have some problems.
Well, Soto is
Yeah,
like your best horse, but even Soto, I saw swinging at some really bad pitches.
oh
Uh,
man, the story would have been great if it's the top of the ninth inning. The Mets are down by two. Soto is up with 2 outs. He works it into a 3-2 count, and Josh Hader gives him this sweeping curveball that he just looks awful swinging at. It would have been a great story. It was a 3-2 count. The runner was in motion. All he had to do was hit a single into the outfield, would have tied the game. It would have been a great story for Juan Soto at the beginning of the season, and he just could not come up with the storybook ending. The first weekend for the Mets was lukewarm at best, disappointing on every conceivable level, except for maybe Griffin Canning. Griffin Canning had a great night last night. The problem with poor Griffin Canning is he is now 0-8 against the Astros. He was 0-7 with the Angels against the Astros, and the Mets did him no favors. I feel bad for the guy because he pitched a great game. His slider looked great. He was sawing people off. Great performance. No run support.
No
Zero
run
run
support.
support.
No run support at all. But getting back to Soto too, let's go back to that at bat. He had a 3-0 count. Obviously, he did not have the green light on the 3-0 pitch because that pitch, that first called strike, that looked like just a ball that was just lobbed over. It was just a meatball that was right down the heart of the plate, and he could have mashed that out of the freaking stadium. So I'm assuming that, yeah, did not have the green light on it, even though his name is Juan Soto and he hits ball hard, but they did not give him the green light there. So I'm surprised by that. The pitcher did work him to a 3-2 count and then just gave him a nasty slider that was way out of the strike zone and he bit.
Fooled him. And that's hard to do. It's hard to fool Juan Soto, but he looked foolish with that swing and miss.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of foolish, what were your thoughts about Clay Holmes' initial outing with you?
Not great, not terrible. I'd say it was a middling effort for Clay Holmes in his first outing as a starter. Middling effort. But the
Yeah,
Mets didn't the Mets did him no favors.
Yeah. I think that's a fair assessment. I was expecting much worse. I didn't think he was going to go 4 2/3, especially being a former reliever. I thought that he was going to get tattooed much sooner than this, but it could have been a heck of a lot worse. I think right now he's sitting on about a 3.86 ERA. He only gave up really 2 earned runs because, as you put it, the Mets did him no favors.
No favors.
So with run support, with a little bit of defense behind you, I'd say it's still a major league effort. All right. It's still, I want to say the word encouraging, but for me, that's passable.
Well, he didn't, let's put it this way.
He didn't implode like Nestor.
No, nobody imploded like Nestor Cortez.
Nobody in the history of baseball has ever imploded.
Put that guy in Whip Pro. Jesus.
Gosh.
No, he didn't embarrass himself, but he didn't announce his arrival as a starter either. So, look, I'm a Met fan. Ergo, I am prone to misery and panic. I'm sure Met fans everywhere are, ready to push the panic button on the first 3 games of the season. The lineup is anemic. The pitching is so-so. The bullpen looked okay. I mean, I got to say, Jose Butto looked good. Edwin Diaz looked all right in his one appearance over the weekend. But I got to say, I'm worried about the lineup. This is supposed to be one of the best lineups in the league, and they got to wake up. I suppose this is Lindor doing Lindor things. Like the first 100 at-bats of his season last year were equally as horrible, and then he figured it out, and he had an MVP-like season. If it wasn't for Ohtani doing Ohtani things, going 50-50, it would have been Lindor's award last year. So there's time, but again, this is going to be a super competitive league. The National League is going to be really good, especially if the Padres are coming out of the gate strong. The Dodgers are going to be there. I mean, have the Dodgers lost yet?
They're 5-0. So
No.
when you say the Dodgers are going to be there, no, the Dodgers are there.
That's right.
Mhm.
The Dodgers may actually go 162-0.
The Dodgers are waiting. Is what it's coming down to.
So it's going to be a super competitive National League. You got to keep up with the Joneses, and that's what I'm worried about.
That's right. So you got a bunch of Billy Madisons running around there, whereas the American League, maybe one Billy Madison. Can you think of a second Billy Madison rolling through the AL right now? I can't. Not off the top of my head.
Oh my God. All right. So getting back to what I want to talk about too. Yeah, I just had to stop it. Stop it. What I'm excited about, and just get back to the Phillies. Talking about your Clay Holmes and your oh woe is me, but what I'm excited about, a person that did announce his presence with authority, Jesus Luzardo.
Jesus Luzardo.
Wow. Yeah. His fastball was at around, on average, 97 miles an hour, and he brought out a sneaky sweeper pitch, and he tied Jim Bunning with the most strikeouts in a debut. So I'm excited about that.
At least you have something to be excited about there, Dan. I have nothing to be excited about right now.
Sorry
And,
about that, Spear.
Knucklehead over there has got his bats. So
No, Knucklehead also has a 3-0 record. So what I like about this weekend is, of course, with the 3 tool players programming here, how about we just take a look in at what the overall standings are? You see the beautiful Bronx Bombers sitting atop of the standings, 3-0. You have the Fighting Philadelphians sitting at 2-1, and you have the Metropolitans really trying at an anemic
okay.
1-2.
All right. Okay. Kick a man while he's down. All right.
Oh, I will several times.
can't-
I'll throw
I
down the
can't
Randy
wait.
Savage elbow from the top rope.
I can't wait.
It's coming, brother. Oh, that's
I
Hulk
can't.
Hogan.
You,
Never
no,
mind,
you
I got
just
that
mix
wrong.
them up. What are you doing?
did.
What are you doing, idiot Yankee fan?
I can't wait until the Yankees start slumping and they regress towards the mean, which is where we think they're all going to be. And I'm not going to laugh my balls off. I swear to God.
Listen, in all seriousness, you're absolutely right. I'll be the first to say that there's no way we keep this pace up. Yes, every baseball season is going to end in the 80s, 90s, perhaps 100s in terms of win. But I have no delusions that we will be winning every game of the season. I'll just keep it like that, and I hope the guys are gelling, have a great weekend, and then just keep moving on the momentum. That's all.
Look what he did there, Dan. He tempered it a little bit.
Yeah, he dialed it back a little bit.
Dialed it back.
He sounded somewhat humbled.
I don't see this as a lasting thing. This is not a
No.
trend. Well, there you go. There's our first weekend series recap. We'll be doing a lot of these throughout the season on 3 Tool Players, and you can check out every episode on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts or on YouTube. And if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you mash those like and subscribe buttons. We'd really appreciate it. For Brian and Dan Hammer, I'm Chris Beer, and we thank you for listening to this episode of Three Tool Players.